Hey everyone, Ben here. We're in the DTM 2016 cars in Race Room at the Hockenheimring, and this racing is breathless. One driver off to the left hand side there. We're into the middle part of this race and I've got Schultz all over my rear wing. I'm defending for my life. He's got his nose down his inside. I get the all clear, but then I'm spun around heading into the stadium section and this race is essentially over. Let's take a look back and see what happened there. Now in my races so far this week, the battling has been frenetic, and this is another example of that, with not much space or quarter being given. Now I did get a call from my spotter that I was clear on the right, but I was leaving room down the right hand side, and it feels to me, watching these replays, that Schultz was just too far wide of the apex here to make the corner safely with me on his outside. Now of course, we're motor racing, these things do happen, but on this occasion it wrecked my race and I'm hungry for a chance to do better next time. Race 2 then, at the Hockenheimring. We are starting in P8 and I've got hopes that I might be able to move forward in this session. I'm loving these DTM 2016 cars. I'll say a little bit more about that as the race gets underway, but the red lights are out and now I'm all about getting through T1 in one piece. Anyone who's raced at this circuit knows how perilous it can be. I'm holding my breath, I'm on the outside. Thankfully I don't get slammed into, but I nearly lose it on the curb. One driver off to the right hand side. I'm now 3 wide, barreling down to T2. Thankfully I'm able to just get ahead of the guy on my inside there. I'm going to get through the corner in one piece, but another driver is going to swoop down the inside as we get onto the long back straight. I'm down into P10, but I'm tucked neatly under the Audi driver's rear wing here. No DRS on lap 1. Yes, these cars do have DRS assistance, but for now I'm having to just duke it out without that mechanism, and we're down into the braking zone again, holding my breath, expecting to get involved in a shunt. One driver returning to the track there up ahead. I actually made the pass around the outside and I'm up into P9, and that's now Sergio up the road just ahead of me there. That's my next target. Drivers fanning across the track, trying to just defend their lines into the left-hander. Sergio is wide through that corner and I'm now back up into P8, so we're into the position that we started from in this race. Let's take a little look back at a couple of those highlights. Down into the hairpin then for the first time, that's me in the yellow Deutsche Post BMW, just taking the outside line, get a little bit of contact on the inside there, but all in all a great pass, and here's me capitalising on Sergio just being slightly hot into the left-hander. That's going to give me way more momentum on corner exit and I'm able to make the position mine. Back to the live action then at the end of lap 1, and I'm closing in on Mans up ahead, and he's just made a critical error through the final corner, nearly lost the car. He managed to hold it, but that's going to give me half a chance into T1, but Sergio behind is still interested too, and he closes right in on my rear bumper as I was just a little bit indecisive through T1 there, and now I'm going to come under big pressure from the driver behind for my P8. Into T2 we go then. I leave him room on the inside, but I'm just carrying enough speed to hold on to the position for now. I've got the DRS. I can use this 3 times a lap. I used it once there on the first straight of the lap. I'm using it again down the big back straight, and it looks as if Mans does not have DRS on this lap. Taking to the inside then with a huge overspeed, I should be able to get this pass done. You can see the view from Sergio's camera as well, as he just gives me a nudge on the rear. I just about hold the car on the exit, and it looks as if he's going to get past Mans as well for position. Let's again see that on replay then. Very congested heading through the apex there. Thankfully we were all able to make it through, but wow, more cars joining in the fight behind. And yeah, just as I was saying, Sergio continues that battle with Mans, and just as we saw on the first lap, Mans getting in too deep there, and then Sergio able to take advantage of it. Back to the live action then just a couple of minutes later in this race, and I've squeezed up onto the rear wing of Esteban, so he is now my next target as we get towards the stadium section once more. Sitting in P7 now, I'm fancying a top 5, but I've got to make short work of getting past these drivers if I'm going to do that and avoid field spread. However, up ahead, Camarero, who's sitting in P3, is about to have an incident all on his own. Coming out of the left-hander, he's clearly just got a little bit greedy on the gas pedal, and that has sent his car into a spin. And it's a reminder that these cars are challenging to drive, way more challenging than your average modern GT3 experience. You've got to treat these cars with respect, and that means not mashing the throttle or the brake pedal. It will send you off into the barriers if you do that. However, it's a hugely rewarding experience as a result. You can really feel in Race Room the weight of the cars shifting, and if you can just get the balance right between aggression and just moderation through some of these corners, then honestly this is one of the best driving experiences I've had in a little while. And that's partly to do with Race Room's excellent physics, but it's also partly to do with the fact that these cars are beasts. As finally I'm in the slipstream, and with DRS I'm going to make this pass on Esteban. Hopefully it's going to be straightforward if I can spot my braking properly, get the car turned in on the apex, and overall we've judged that pretty well. We're able to get one more place done in this race. We fast forward then, getting towards half race distance now, sitting in P5, and up ahead Curb and Duploy are about to engage in a big fight heading towards the hairpin, and hopefully that's going to bring me even closer to them, because I've had to overhaul quite a significant gap. There's around a second now separating us as we get into the braking zone, into the hairpin, and I am much more confident on the brakes, it seems, than either driver were there. Deploy is up on the curbs, that has unsettled him, and that is going to be a bit of a freebie for me by the looks of things. He's trying to hold it out down my inside. I've got to give him room on the inside there, but surely I've got the high ground for the next corner, and yes, I'm able to just close that off, take a slightly narrower line, and that is me up into P4, and all of a sudden a podium result is on the cards here. And just as I say that, we've been able over the next lap or so to close in on Curb as we come round to start another lap here, around 5 minutes left on the race clock. And now I've got to get my head down and close right onto the rear wing of Curb here over the remaining couple of laps, and I could absolutely be fighting for a podium. P1 and P2, they're about 7 seconds down the road. I don't have enough time to get onto their rear wings, I don't think, unless one of them makes a big mistake. But you can see already I'm now just 0.4 of a second behind as we get towards the hairpin once again, and I've got the DRS crucially, and Curb does not. He's nowhere near close enough to a driver up ahead to get the DRS, so I've got a huge overspeed here. I'm going to come to the inside. I'm thinking about that pass that I made earlier in the race. Hopefully this is going to be straightforward as well, but I miss a gear shift. I don't get down into first. That makes me lazy on corner exit, and a brilliant repass from Curb there as he took a nice wide entry, swooped back underneath me, and he's gotten P3 back. Can I get back ahead then and claim this podium position myself? Well, I'm very close into the braking zone through the left-hander there, just not able to get fully alongside. We're side by side again here through the right-hander, but there's no way to hold the move around there, and all the while Duploy and Esteban are closing in behind me. This could be a four-way battle for P3. I'm faster than Curb into the stadium section here. I'm going to be side by side into the left-hander. But again, that represents the long way around this kind of corner. I'm going to try and cut back underneath him. Yeah, we're side by side once more through the left-hander. A little bit of contact. And if you make any kind of contact through this section of track, you are really risking your race. So I think better of it. I pull back out, and we're coming onto the start-finish straight once again. And we've got 3 minutes left now on the race clock. Just a few more laps left. And once more, I'm tucked underneath Curb's rear wing. Get through T1. I'm slightly wide, but I'm able to carry a decent amount of pace. And once more, I've got the DRS advantage, but I don't really want to pass him into this corner. I want to wait until we're onto the long back straight and I can use some slipstream and then hopefully secure the position down into the hairpin. So here goes, get back on the DRS. I've got a huge amount of full throttle time here to get clear of Curb, but Duploy has also got DRS, so this is definitely going to be a three-way battle into the braking zone, as he now is right the way alongside Curb as well. You can see from the onboard footage, I am now just hoping there's no one on the apex, on the inside. Duploy gets down the inside of Curb as well. I'm able to get through cleanly. Wow, what a couple of laps of racing action that was. Here's the first attempted pass on Curb, and here's a wonderful switchback move from him as I made a mistake on my downshifts. The next lap, I was able to get much further ahead of him earlier into the corner. His battle really by this point was with Deploy. He tries to open up the corner to perhaps attempt the same move, but then he just locks up slightly, and actually he's round mid-corner. Disaster for Curb there. Let's see that a little bit more closely, and yeah, you can see he just locks a tyre there, and that's enough to send him round. Wow, and he very nearly collects another driver there, rejoining from the middle of the track. But as it happens, that was the last significant action for me. I was able to use the last lap and a half to just pull clear of Deploy. We're going to take a podium here in the 2016 DTM class on RaceRoom at the Hockenheimring, and wow, I tell you what, there is a lot of rough and tumble this week in these cars. These are very challenging machines to get around this circuit, and it is the free combo, so you've got a lot of what I imagine are less experienced sim racers out there on track. But if you can get lucky and you're racing alongside people who do know what they're doing in these machines, then the competition is amazing, and the driving experience itself, as I mentioned through the race, is awesome. So I definitely recommend checking it out. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, leave a comment, get subscribed for more, and I'll see you on the next one.